One thing that annoys me to no end is when people post in comments, "Why are the Japanese so weird?" I cannot express how dumb that makes people come off as when they say stuff like that. I just want people to realize these are incredibly idiotic generalizations. And especially if you've never been to the country, I think you need to shut your mouth. So there's this assumption that everybody in Japan is some sort of sexual deviant or pervert child molester. Like as if you go to the mall and you would look around and you wouldn't see people, right? Because you wouldn't see families or grandparents or school kids or teenagers. Nope. All there would be are young schoolgirls, the creepy middle-aged guys that prey on them, and also the giant octopus who comes out of the sea also to prey on them. Because that is the extent to what people generalize about Japan. Oh yeah, and maybe like sushi and ninjas or something. Oh, and don't forget suicide, right? Because every Japanese person is going to eventually kill themselves because of quote-unquote honor, quote-unquote shame. And so let me ask you, where did this schoolgirl come from? Was she created out of some sort of Lord of the Rings troll birthing pod? And the same with the old creepy dude? And then they're just set loose on the streets of Japan? Man, come on! Do you know how crazy this is starting to sound? Japan is a country full of very normal people. They may not be normal by your standards, but that is exactly the reason why they seem so weird to you. Because you're measuring them using a different standard. I remember when I was a kid, and I used to watch the Ninja Turtles. They would always be eating pizza, and a lot of times the shows ended with one of the turtles saying, "At least it's not sushi. Ugh, that's raw fish." Never mind that Master Splinter was Japanese, and that he taught them the way of the ninja, and probably would have influenced them to like Japanese food in some sort. Nope, Japan is different, and therefore weird. It also couldn't have been the fact that up to the 1980s, Japan had been second place to the US in regards to economy, but they were beginning to overtake us. And so then there became this fear and dislike of Japan, which found its way into children's cartoons as well, thereby influencing millions and millions of future Americans. And that was in the late 1980s and early 90s, pretty much 30 years ago. And now, in a lot of the country, you can just go into a supermarket and pick up a pack of sushi. And I think mostly, people don't think twice about it. Sure, people are still turned off by the thought of eating raw fish, but I think that's a cultural thing, and also something that if you're exposed to while growing up, you're a lot less likely to find disgust in it. So for instance, when I was growing up as a Chinese boy, there were all sorts of things that I wouldn't have been exposed to if I were just American. We can get into duck feet or fish eyes or shark fin soup. But that's also how I was exposed to sushi at a young age. So growing up, I was always like, why do the Ninja Turtles not like sushi? It's pretty good. But that's because I had been exposed to it when I was young. And I didn't have people telling me how weird or gross it was. And that's why it makes me upset when people nowadays talk out of their ass and make generalizations about a country they've never been to. And this doesn't just go for Japan, it goes for other countries as well. So stop with that shit. The more you say it, the more you convince yourself and others. I know it's hard to imagine, but America is just as weird as the other countries. You just haven't seen it from the other side. Which, by the way, that's my next video. Being Asian, here are the things that I find weird about America. Feel free to leave me a comment or two below. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.